This is the video for 1.5, drawing angles and polygons. You want to make sure that you use a pencil and that you have a protractor. Something looks like this. And a pencil is important in case you have to erase things when you get to the end. Okay. All right, so it says step 1. I'm always going to draw a side of the triangle first and name those endpoints. So in my example, I could choose AB or AC. I'm just going to go with AB since it's first. It says 3 centimeters. That is the inside part of my protractor. The outside part is inches. So in the center of my paper, I'm going to go right here. That would be 3 centimeters. And the important thing is I also need to label my endpoints. So we're supposed to call this one A and B. It's okay if you flip B and A. Your angle will just be in a different spot. Okay. So if yours looks like mine, the second step says decide at which endpoint you're going to draw the measured angle. It says I'm supposed to go from B to A to C. So here's B, here's A. I'm going to have some C out here, so I need to line up my protractor at this corner. If you had flipped them and done A and B opposite, then your protractor is going to go over here. But I'm going from B to A to C, and it says 100 degrees. So since I'm starting on the right side, I need to make an obtuse angle, so bigger than 90, and I put a little tally mark out there at the end. Okay, I followed my line over, and then we're going all the way to 100 degrees, past 90. When it says measure the angle, go ahead and just extend this line out. So again, I'm using the inside, or you can also use the flat side to make a straight edge. We're going to connect A all the way out there. So this is angle B to A to some C, and measured to be 100 degrees. The last part is going to vary based on your problem. If they gave me another angle, typically it'll be this angle over here. I would line up my protractor, and wherever my angle connected, I would make a straight line, and that's where my triangle would end. In this example though, we do have a third side. So we have A and C, and it says it's supposed to be 4 centimeters. So I'm going to measure. Here's 4 centimeters. So my C is going to be right there. Okay. So this is where if you had a pencil, I would then erase this part. I drew it in pen, so it would show up on the video. But if you have your pencil, go ahead and erase that little chunk right there. The last thing is I need to finish. So I'm going to go ahead and use my flat edge again, or whatever my straight line is. And we're going to connect B to C. Okay, double check when you're done. So A to B, I did 3 centimeters. I used the inside part of my protractor. I then measured my angle, B to A to C, to be 100 degrees. And then A to C, right there, was 4 centimeters long. If you're done, you can erase that extra and make sure you connect that line so you do have a full, complete triangle. Now let's try a parallelogram. First off, what is a parallelogram? It is something where opposite sides are parallel to each other. So I'll end up with a picture that looks like this. I'm going to label that so I don't forget. A parallelogram could also be a square or rectangle, but in your examples, we're always going to have some degree other than 90, so your picture should end up looking like this. If you get done, and your picture looks like this, that is what we call a trapezoid, and you measured one of your degrees wrong. So I'm going to put an X through this. Okay, my directions say a parallelogram, so I need a picture like this. Okay, let's start the same way though. So it says measure and draw one side. In my picture it says I need 1 inch. So for inches, instead of using the inside, now we're using the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead, make it straight. Use that flat part. I traced across. There was 1 inch. I'm going to go ahead and give it 2 little points. Usually we're going to label it, but in this case it didn't say like letter A, B, or C. So I'm just going to mark on there that I did my 1 inch. So I remember I did that one. And then I need to draw 55 degrees. I'm going to choose one of my angles. I'm going to go with the 55. If you want to do 125, that's fine. Your picture may just look opposite compared to mine. So they could be going opposite directions. I could have a parallelogram this way, or I could have a parallelogram going that way. So if I start with 55, and I'm going to go with my left side of my number line, I'm going to line it up. My dot is in there. My straight line goes across. Since I'm going from this side, 55 is an acute angle. We're halfway between 50 and 60. I'm going to put a little tally mark outside my protractor there at 55. So I know I'm between these two, so then I'm going to be as specific as I can, count over 5, and put my little tally. I'm going to go ahead and extend my line just like last time. Use that flat part of your ruler, or you can use the inside. Okay, so we measured one of the angles at the line that you drew, and on the other end, we need to measure another angle. So this was 55. I'm going to go ahead and move my protractor over to the other corner. And then this is where you need to be very careful. Since I moved my protractor over here, I'm no longer using my inside set of numbers. Since my line extends this way, I need to go my outside row of numbers. So 150 or 125 should be all the way across, halfway between 120 and 130, right there. Okay. You'll notice if I had accidentally used the inside and put a mark over here, that would have made a very small angle again that would have been acute, and I would have ended up with my picture of a trapezoid. Okay, so since I moved it to the right side and the line came out this way to the left, I used the outside set. I'm going to go and connect my 125. Also double check when you write that degree in there for your label, is this an obtuse angle? If you wrote 125, I should have something bigger than 90. Okay. And then it says from both ends, draw the side lengths that have the same measurement. So since I've already used my 1, I still need to do the 2s. That's the length I'm going to use. I'm going to go ahead and use the bottom part of my ruler. Line it up. There's 2 inches. Same thing on the other side. Line that guy up. Straight out. There again is 2 inches. Both of these are 2 inches long. When I finish it, this should make another 1-inch segment. Okay, so when it says connect the ends of those lines, I should be able to just draw my ruler straight across. Double check. I do have 1 inch. I can also double check. I'm going to turn my paper. I should have the same degrees. So if you lined up your protractor in that corner and I turn my paper, so that way it's straight up and down, this one should extend out. This one right here is 55 degrees. Same thing this way. I'm going to turn this one. When I put my protractor in this corner, that line is straight up. This one is between 120, 130. This one is my 125 degrees. When I get done with a parallelogram, this picture should be symmetrical. So I should have 125s and 55s opposite from each other, and then my 2 inches and my 1 inches on these side opposite from each other.